Greetings, loyal viewers, and welcome back. And I'm really excited for today's video because we're finally going to be taking a look at the long-anticipated show, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Specifically, the very first episode that premiered just last night. And what do I think of it? Honestly, I think it's a really, really solid start to what is potentially a really, really good show. Quick note before we get started, I personally don't know too much about the comics themselves, but I do know that the duo has fought alongside other superheroes before, most notably Miles Morales. I bring this up because Zeno Robinson himself has actually expressed on Twitter, albeit in his own goofy way, that he'd be interested in playing Miles should he ever appear in the show going forward. Even if he doesn't end up getting the part though, I'd still be happy regardless just to see Miles and Lunella fighting crime together. But enough talking about what could have been, let's go ahead and talk about what we've got. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be keeping my spoilers to a minimum as much as I can, though I can't promise anything there. For now, I will at the very least be giving a basic synopsis of what goes on in the episode. So, what happens? Lunella Lafayette is an intelligent and altruistic 13-year-old who is generally well liked by her own community, that being the Lower East Side, and whose parents own a small and struggling skating rink thanks in large part to recent blackouts that has also been putting her community at risk due to robberies. When she accidentally brings a dinosaur to the Lower East Side in pursuit of trying to solve the problem related to the blackouts, she finally has the brawn to match her own wits to protect her community going forward, along with her new best friend at school and business manager, Casey. So yeah, pretty simple, albeit admittedly cliched plot we have going here. And when I say cliched, again, I don't want to give away what happens, but let's just say if you actually watch the episode, you'll quickly know what I'm talking about. And needless to say, there are some moments where, while they certainly can be emotional, and sometimes even funny, in other places, I mean, you can kind of predict what's going to happen shortly after that. Again, I don't want to give that away, but again, if you watch the episode, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, rather than dwell on that fact, let's go ahead and talk about a lot of the things that I like about this already. As far as the movement goes, it's very well done, especially in the action scenes. Two notable highlights in this episode in particular, for me anyway, are the brief first-person perspective from Devil Dinosaur's point of view, and then there's the climax, which is presented in these super stylized colors and whatnot, and it's just, it's so cool to look at. Speaking of which, I absolutely love the art direction in this show. On top of the color scheme itself, which is already very eye-catching, the character designs are very well stylized and just oozing with personality, with Moon Girl's superhero outfit in particular telling you just about everything that there is to know about her right off the bat. As for the characters themselves, let's talk a bit about the main cast themselves. I already mentioned earlier how Lunella is very intelligent and altruistic. Both are especially made clear very early on, with Lunella wanting to use her intelligence to solve the issue with the blackouts, both to save her family's skating ring as well as for her community. Her intelligence is honestly what helps her to stand out a bit more from most of the other leading ladies in other Disney shows recently. Not to say they were imbeciles or anything, but I wouldn't exactly call most of them super intelligent either. There's not a whole lot that can be said about Devil Dinosaur himself, to be honest. That said, he is an absolute precious angel that needs protecting at all times. And finally, we have Casey. At first I thought she was going to be a bit of an annoying third wheel, and while she can definitely be a bit extra at times, something even the show more or less acknowledges itself, she actually proves to be rather helpful in certain situations, and what I especially like is that she's also helping out to do the right thing out of being inspired by Lunella herself after she and Devil Dinosaur saved her life, and not for some selfish end goal. Plus, her friendship with Lunella is both really funny and honestly even kinda sweet at times. As far as other characters are concerned, like Lunella's family for example, you know what, they're fine. Like, they're nothing amazing or anything, but you know what, for what it's worth, they work well in their respective roles in this story. Even throwing in a little bit of self-awareness about their role, which honestly did get a legit laugh out of me. In fact, generally speaking, while I'm not going to pretend like all the jokes hit bullseyes, the ones that do got a real laugh out of me. Both the self-aware humor and a couple of the fourth wall jokes that they make in this. Including one towards the end that, especially if you've been following cartoons recently, feels very meta. Of course, it would be an ultimate sin for me to not also talk about the music, which has a really good, funky rhythm to it. I especially love the one that they played during the climax. That one, I found myself tapping my feet to quite a bit, both during and after the episode was over. And the intro theme that they play at the very end of the episode, I also think it has a really nice, catchy rhythm to it as well. It's not too often anymore in this day and age that we get intros with lyrics to them. Like, they still exist, but they're not quite as common as they were back then. Like, I think the only other Disney show I can think of, at least that I've seen, that has a lyrical intro, I think that's the right word I'm using, that has an intro like that is The Ghost of Molly McGee, which I also do like a lot. But yeah, either way, the soundtrack, like with just about everything else in this, I thought was really solid. Definitely looking forward to what else they have to offer in that regard going forward. But yeah, I honestly don't have much else to say. It's a pretty solid start to what is potentially a great series, and I am looking forward to what they have in store for us next. Now, at the time of recording this, I haven't watched the newest episode yet. In fact, at the time that I'm filming this, the newest episode hasn't aired just yet, but I am definitely going to be watching that here very shortly. All I can say is I'm looking forward to what they have to throw at us next, because, like I said, this was a really, really solid start. And until then, I'm King Gargantuas, and take care.